If you've just started to binge watch the mountains of Amazon FBA content on YouTube, then I wouldn't blame you for thinking that achieving success with Amazon FBA, that's a walk in the park that doesn't involve stress, problems, and failure. And that's because the majority of Amazon FBA videos that you come across online, they're being taught by people that want to make it seem as though selling on Amazon is the easiest thing in the world that involves no problems at all. But that couldn't be further from the truth. In fact, despite me selling over 300,000 products to customers all around the world and generating over $1 million on Amazon, I've encountered failure on numerous occasions, sometimes with repercussions so severe that I've been seconds away from giving up. So to show you that failure on Amazon happens to everybody, and to give you an insight into just how challenging selling on Amazon can be, let's run through my biggest failures and how I solved each one of them. In the first half of 2019, I launched my second product on Amazon, and after 4 months of selling, it was already generating me nearly £70,000 in just one single month. Life was good until one fateful day, I loaded my phone up and I saw an email from Amazon that turned my entire world upside down. My best-selling product had been permanently removed from sale without any warning whatsoever. After calming myself down and reading the email in detail, I saw that another company had made a formal complaint against me, stating that my product was infringing on a patent that they owned. And that was something that I was completely unaware of. At this point, I was in shock and was at a complete low because I had around 2,000 units of this product in stock, and I knew that unless I found a solution, my Amazon FBA business would crumble and fail. So I reached out to the complainant, who was based in Germany. I apologized for my error, and I said, please can you let me sell out of my remaining stock? The answer was a firm no, and a request instead for me to send a huge lump sum amount as a result of me infringing on their patent. I was absolutely gutted. And that's when I thought, if I can't recover this situation, there's going to be no option but to close down the business and accept failure. But because I'd experienced success with Amazon FBA before, and I knew just how sweet it tasted, there was no way that I was going to give up and accept failure. So I did some research online about the different ways that you can resolve patent infringement. And following that, I made a proposal to the patent holder that would give them a small upfront payment and an additional amount for each unit that they allowed me to sell. So after about 2 weeks of email exchanges, despite initially being convinced that my Amazon FBA business was about to fail, the complainant actually agreed to let me continue selling out of my stock, which gave me my listing back and the opportunity to have the product's design changed so that it no longer infringed on their patent. Problem solved. Whilst I would love to say that nearly getting sued for patent infringement was the only time that I'd failed on Amazon, it's not by a long shot. Another time I was happily selling online, making a nice daily profit and generally feeling quite upbeat. Then all of a sudden, I received an email from Amazon saying that my bank account details were invalid, which I thought was pretty odd given that I'd been using them just fine since I'd first started selling. So after logging into my account, I was greeted with a huge message that said I'd been banned from selling on Amazon because I'd given invalid bank details. I immediately panicked and somehow made things even worse by starting to change things in my account, adding new bank details and even more. And that just resulted in me getting another email saying that I was now banned for failing verification.
Oh shit.
Despite my bank details being very much correct and it being obvious that this was an Amazon error, I was still convinced that failure was on the cards, particularly when I kept getting auto responses from Amazon in a different language whenever I emailed them to see what was happening. But like any entrepreneur knows, failure should not be an option. So I kept being persistent and I continued to chase. And after sending in a scan of my bank statement and praying to the Amazon gods for forgiveness, my account was reinstated and I was allowed to sell again on Amazon. Hooray. Another time I encountered failure with Amazon of all days was on my wedding day. Now this one was a real low point for me. I was having a nice leisurely stroll through the park just before getting married when I decided to check how my Amazon sales were doing. Rather than being greeted with the lovely big orange sales bars that you see on your app, instead, I was shown a message from Amazon telling me that they'd removed one of my best-selling products from sale for a safety-related reason. At the time, this warning didn't really cause me too much concern because a lot of my products are in the electronics category, and Amazon do actually quite frequently remove listings for safety reasons until you can send in documentation, which I can usually always easily provide. So fortunately, I was able to get married and then go on honeymoon without it being on my mind too much. However, on the 4th day of being on honeymoon, I was greeted with another email that once again turned my Amazon selling world completely upside down. It wasn't from Amazon, but it was from Trading Standards. And it said that they were the ones that had requested that my product was removed from sale because when they'd inspected the product at customs, it had failed their safety tests. And this immediately panicked me and caused fail sirens to go off in my head. After I'd calmed myself down and read their email in a bit more detail, I honestly couldn't believe it. The reason that the product had failed their tests wasn't actually because of a safety issue, but was because of an issue with the labeling on the product itself, which made me absolutely fuming because it was basically some utter gremlin that had snitched on me and caused me to lose my listing and possibly thousands of units over a really, really minor issue. Just like with every other time that I'd been close to failure, I just took a breather, calmed myself down and put my solutions hat on. In this case, there wasn't really much that I could do other than accept that it was my fault that the product didn't have the right labeling and then recall all of the units from Amazon's warehouse to a storage facility where I would, alongside my wife, sticker on the symbol that Trading Standards said was missing onto over 3,000 units. It was a complete pain that took around 6 months to gradually fix, but a hard lesson learnt: get inspections and make sure that your packaging and your product have all mandatory markings. The first product that I ended up selling on Amazon became a fairly big success within just a few months. Having made £30,000 in revenues after 3 months of selling, all with a nice 30% profit margin, life as an Amazon seller felt pretty good. But unfortunately, my competitors weren't very happy about my success, and as a result of that, they started attacking my product with 1-star reviews, one after each other. In total, my product got hit with 12 1-star reviews, which pretty much killed my product's success overnight. Over the course of 2 weeks, my sales went from around 50 a day all the way down to pretty much 0. And that was pretty gutting, especially given I had over 2,000 units in stock that I'd just paid for, which now they weren't selling at all. I was really feeling sorry for myself and just about to accept failure until I decided I was not going to let the bullies beat me. Once I'd done a bit of investigating, I discovered a number of groups online where people were getting paid to leave bad reviews on listings, which I thought was absolutely outrageous. And this is exactly what my competitors were doing, paying strangers to try and bring me down, which only made me even more determined to beat them. So I collected all of the evidence that I managed to find, I put together an email and I sent it off to Amazon with all of my proof. And within a week, the reviews had been removed and my sales eventually returned to normal. It wasn't a nice experience whatsoever, but I prevailed in the end despite being this close to failing and giving up. Over the past 5 years of selling on Amazon, I've dealt with multiple events that looked like they were about to completely destroy my business and cause me to fail. But because of my commitment to success and my tenacity, I've never let bullies, competitors, bots, or some toad at the trading standards win. I've always found a solution to turn things around, despite it being incredibly hard at the time. And whilst each occasion that I've encountered failure has felt like I was being taken to hell and back, honestly, as of today, they just feel like blips that haven't ultimately impacted my business's overall level of success. And because of that, I'm so glad that instead of giving up and accepting failure for each time something bad has happened, I found solutions, I fought the problem, and I won. Now, I'm not saying that I'd want to go through all of those failures again, but I've no doubt that as my Amazon business continues to grow, there are going to be many more failures and challenges to come. It's just a part of running a business. Understanding and accepting that business comes with highs and it comes with lows, that's something that helps to keep you grounded and focused on improving at all times, which some of these Amazon FBA gurus out there do try to hide, even though this model does absolutely have its lows. You should know that for every success story that you hear and see on YouTube, behind that is going to be a ton of stories of fails, stresses, and pain. But the difference between a winner and loser in this game is that winners don't give up when they experience fails. They find solutions so that the only possibility left is to win. So if you have experienced failure yourself and you're thinking of giving up on your Amazon business because it's not as easy as others seem to be finding it, honestly, don't. I promise you that if you keep going and looking for ways to improve, you'll be rewarded by your efforts just like I have. I hope that you guys found my failures entertaining and motivational, and that you now understand that my path to success hasn't been down to experiencing no challenges at all, but due to a refusal to ever give up over what I see as a once in a lifetime opportunity that is incredibly rewarding. So don't give up, find solutions, remember to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.